Good morning, everyone. How we doing? Mic should sound a little bit better today. Everything is fixed. Beautiful. Perfect. Let's get right into the stream. Shelly, what's going on? How we doing? Let me get the alerts out here. Make sure everyone knows that we are live. Audio should sound a little bit better. There's no clicking in the back. Looks like there still is a little bit. Okay, automatically adjust. Good. Echo. Good. Minimizing background. Good. All right. Good morning, everyone. What's going on, Mark? How we doing? Let's get right into analyzing for today. So we had a pretty expand the screen a little bit. Really good right there, right? Yeah. We had a pretty good continuation up for the entire day yesterday. We didn't have any fade into the afternoon. What we did have that I enjoyed quite a bit was the inside bar stat targeting that previous day's high. And that was mainly for SPY. We are unfortunately today we're opened outside of previous day's range on both SPY and Q, so we will not have that draw. Let me also go and pull up the edgeful for today. Can't forget that. So that draw that we had, unfortunately, not there today. It was beautiful yesterday. We opened just under previous day's 50 on SPY. That was our target to the upside. We actually had a double confluence for upside with the ultimate reversal stat on Qs. We also had a previous day in London gap. So pretty good Monday. Very good open into Monday night as well. We are currently gapped up 0.5%, which as always, we'll go and pull up that gap fill by size. And we're looking at an 80% chance that, sorry, wrong side. Looking at a 64% chance that this gap is not filled. So pretty good odds that we maintain a bullish bias for today. Now we'll go in and draw our previous day's 50 here. And then we will also draw our London 50. Previous day's 50 right there. Actually, was that 8 a.m. or 4 a.m.? Okay, so that's our high. And then we also have pretty much the same high for 4 a.m. It is a couple cents higher, if even 5 cents higher. So that's our current London 50, and previous day's 50 will be looking for a reaction, probably not on SPY, but Q should be a little bit better. Go and draw that in. And there is our previous day's 50 with London 50. So they're pretty much the same, unfortunately. What we can look for, not really going to have that big of a retest, unfortunately. But for that outside day stat, we do have a pretty good chance of having a reversal back down. We have an 81% chance. I think this is overdue a loss. This was previously sitting at like 65, 63%, somewhere around there. We actually, never mind. We will be opening within previous days. Sorry, no. Regular trading hours high is right there. I'll mark the same thing on SPY as well. So there's our regular trading hours high. SPY should have a draw to the upside. Q should have a very minimal draw to the downside. Also, if you guys are tuning in anywhere else, there should be less clicking, less tapping on the keyboard in the background. I did move over to Chrome, and we now have the audio suppression on. So if the mic sounds better, let me know. You might hear it a little bit here and there, but hopefully it's not as bad. Might switch to 16.5s. Yeah, go for it. What's going on, Hot? How you doing? Pickus, Rolo, Rebo, how you guys doing? Nice. It looks like that sound suppression's working. Cold's really getting to me, making my voice all raspy. All right, so I'm really not anticipating much in open, unfortunately. We don't have that high of a stat for a gap fill. That gap fill will be down to, it's about a 1 in 3 chance we get a gap fill. And that would be down to 626.21. That's our price target. If we do get a fill, then moving over to SPY, this one is 695.44. So those are our two gap fill stats. Unfortunately, there's not much we can play for that for a bias. Now, SPY might be a little bit different, given that we are looking at like a 77% chance. Q's not so much. What's going on, Pickus? How you doing? We'll be what's going on? Morning, Lonnie. How you doing? We bearish. I don't have any bias in open right now. I will say, so if you guys remember last Thursday, I mentioned what the total dollar loss from gold and silver dropping was. Does anyone want to take a guess? I did mention it briefly yesterday. Does anyone want to take a guess as to what that loss equated to on Friday? So does anyone at all have a guess as to what Thursday, this drop on Thursday, even though it was only 0.7%, was $3 trillion. Yeah, you got it, Sasso. $15 trillion lost from the global economy in one trading day. Not even the fact that it was it was about $50. Yeah, $50 is what we peaked at. $15 trillion gone, evaporated, poof. And that was the largest single day drop in market cap since 1980. Where'd it go? Probably got transferred to Argentina or something. I don't know. It didn't go anywhere. It's gone. It's a market cap loss, so it's not the same as like someone DraftKings has it. That's a good one. DraftKings has it for the Super Bowl. It's not as insane as like just a futures contract moving up or down. Someone wins, someone loses. This is still, and to be fair, we did put that market cap on in 2 weeks, 3 weeks of trading. This is just a loss. Simple as that. It's you hold an asset, the asset increases in value, very similar to how you hold a house or you live in a house. The house increases in value. Most people don't sell their house because it increased a little bit. And then all of a sudden the market shifts one day and the entire thing comes crashing down. You still have a house at the end of it. Silver is still up, I think, 9 consecutive months. If we go to the monthly time frame, 1 month, it's at 9 consecutive green months. So it's not anything crazy for the drop that it had, but it's because of how fast we pushed up. Still, the fact that we lost $15 trillion, and this was just on gold and silver, these two, just evaporated. It's not like it's moved pockets. It's a market cap loss. It's the same thing as Bitcoin being at 78 from what, like 124. no one went and lost $2 trillion in that. It's just a market cap. Still a crazy stat to look at. And this drop, the single day drop, again, first time that this has happened, or the largest one since 1980. This single day drop is half the US's GDP. So what we witnessed on Friday will likely never happen again. If it does happen again, if we keep in par with this last trend, 1980 to 2026, we'll have to wait another just 46 years, a light 46 years. What's going on, Lamb? How you doing? Sorry, not Lamb. I am displacement. That eye looks weird on this chat. But that's only because of the run up. Yeah, that's what I just said. We made that run up in 3 weeks, so it's not anything crazy. Gosh, I hate that my voice cracks so much. I'm so sorry about that. I'm attempting to have the tea fix it. Might have to go make some more here soon. It's not outlandish because we had a 3-week push up, $15 trillion in 3 weeks. It's the fact that we did just lose it in one day. One single day, 3 weeks of hard work. If you want to call it hard work, that is. We just retraced to where we were in December 25th. Christmas Day, actually. That's where we retraced down to. So again, no bias into open. We will be looking for a small continuation down on Qs to fill that previous day's high. And then for SPY doesn't really have the same draw. These two are in opposition right now, unfortunately. They're diverged. SPY has the draw, but to the upside, 690, 695. So 60 cents to the upside and 60 cents to the downside in the two. Profit taking by the big boys. Well, there were many, many articles that came out during the silver push, which I can't really say much to because I did go and sell my silver, but I got it like 3% under what the spot price was. I'm obviously not trying to sell $10 million worth of silver. I only sold $1,000 worth, but apparently there was an issue with we have refineries that are backed up for however long, but the people that were buying silver were offering like 20 to 30% below spot price in bulk quantities, that is. So even though the asset pushed up, did I cause the crash? Yes, me. I went into a local Maine pawn shop and caused the crash with my 10 ounces of silver that I sold. I'm so sorry, everyone. That $15 trillion was all my fault. They saved a few banks that were short with the silver drop. Yeah, there was one that was short with $125 stop loss. We went all the way up to 122 or 121. So they got saved pretty well. Count their lucky stars. Yeah, again, we don't have unfortunately no continuation pattern for today. And to open, continuations is pretty much all I play. Gap fill stat is what I'd be anticipating for Qs. SPY as well. SPY has that same gap fill down to 695. And then going over to Qs, we have that same gap at 626.19, 626.23. Sorry, all over the place. Qs is already at previous day's high now. So if we open right here, why did it log me out? If we open right here where we are, we will not have this outside bar stat, which is the ultimate reversal. So this one is SPY is the one that has 81%, or ES, whichever one I was on. This is at 63 for both. But if we open where we are right now, that is invalid because that is opening within previous day's range. And then it will be the fastest inside bar break you've ever seen. No kidding. Nice one, Zinc. Can't wait for the crash when you sell your remaining 3 tons of silver. I don't even know how much that would be worth. Can't do the quick math on that one, unfortunately. I'm gonna go make some tea real quick before we get started for the day. Be right back. All right, sorry about that, everyone. We are all set to go. Got my tea. Hopefully, the voice is less cracky today. All right, we will be trading the 20 accounts. Unfortunately, I got hit with some kind of violation. I've yet to get an email for this one. I'm assuming it's the MAE, max allowed, whatever the acronym is for it, or abbreviation. But not really that upset about it. I believe I'm going to have to trade for another 8 days. In those 8 days, I will be able to just increase the buffer. So these accounts are sitting at 27.9 right now, 27,850 to 27.9, $50 variance on them, $50 range. So I'm going to be aiming for a 3,000 distance to drawdown because that will give me a $1,500 buffer into the next payout. But right now, I can request well over, or I'm available for the max, but I have more than enough to request the max. 27.1, no, 27.6 is the max, 1,500 per account. So I'm waiting for the email to see what they tell me. What are you looking at into open? Into open, I honestly have no bias. So there's nothing presenting itself to us. We don't have the inside bar stat to play. We don't have the outside bar stat to play. The only thing that we have is the gap fill. SPY and Qs are pretty diverged right now. Qs for that gap fill by size is much lower. It's a much lower chance of filling. It's at 58%. SPY is in the first bracket, so it has a 77% chance of filling this gap. If anything, what I'd be anticipating is a quick drop and then move up like that on SPY. Qs would have to move all the way down to 626.23. Could you figure out what it was exactly? The date was on Friday. So I would have had to have a position that was negative $600. Am I still trading Lucid and Tradify? Unfortunately, I blew the Tradify accounts. Still have Lucid. Everything was all hunky and dory, and then I tried going a little too hard on the Tradify accounts on Friday or Thursday after I got off stream. So it does still happen. Luckily for me, it was the eval accounts, but it all came from me. This is everything that I post on Twitter as well. It all came from me not listening to my own rules. I sized up, and even worse, I sized up and I tried playing gold on Thursday last week. So during this whole drop, I missed it being in live, which is why I also enjoy being in live because you guys hold me accountable for the mistakes that I make. Didn't short it, didn't short it, didn't short it. And then after I got off live, about 11 o'clock, I tried to short on gold. As you can see, gold did not come back down for the rest of the day. So I was red on the short, kept adding into it. I got tunnel vision, and I was just looking for the $600 profit to pass the accounts. I was at 52,400, and I need 600 left. Got tunnel vision, tried shorting it because I thought, hey, gold just dropped 400 points. It's probably going to have a dead cat bounce and continue lower. Is what it is. Is what it is. Love your chart colors, by the way. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. This is also, I think I made the change, I want to say a year and a half ago. Sorry, 2026. Yeah, that would make sense. So October of 2024, sorry. Red, and I will say this until I'm done trading, until I die. I'll die on this hill. The color red drives impulsive decisions and urgency. It's a actual psychology feature that's in your subconscious. The color red drives you to have urgent, aggressive decisions that are not planned. Nothing that you can do about it. Literally nothing you can do about the color red versus the color green. That's why stop signs are red, stoplights are red. It's a poppy color, drives urgency, poor decision making. Get red off your chart. All the red that you can get off your chart, get it off your chart. The only ones that you can't really get off, unfortunately, are these percent changes and dollar changes on your watch list. Everything else that you have control over that you can remove red, do it. And I know that if anyone has been trading for a significant amount of time, you will know that if you open your portfolio and you see big old red, or if you open the charts and you see a big old red candle, people send me these screenshots on Bitcoin all the time. You see that big old red candle, you get a little gut feeling that is not so good, especially if you're over leveraged in a position. Same thing with futures. If you open your futures, and unfortunately you can't change the color on Trade at least I don't think you can. If you see big old red and then all of a sudden the accounts are no longer there, the position gets closed, that's even worse. That's part of the reason I also trade on Qs. I don't think you can customize this to change the green and red on Trade. I don't think they're there yet. Yes, my Trade charts do have red candles, but I only open the trades on Trade and then I go right back over. I can change the color on Trade. I will have to do that. Candle settings, candlesticks, chart settings. Oh no, get that grid off there. I can adjust it, thank you. Gotta figure it out though. Fill in orders, price levels, daily volume, go to current bar, autofill, continuous autofill. I'm gonna configure chart elements. Then select the ticker. Oh, okay, okay. Well, let's see if I can remember. Hold on, I got the color somewhere. Everyone can get access to what colors I use. I got it somewhere. I just got to find where I typed out the color. There we go. Thank God I bookmarked that. So the color is, got to go back over to Trade here. The color is FFDBBB. That's what I use for red candles. FF Oops. There we go. That was FFDBBB. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Thank you. And I will also, the blue's okay. I don't mind the blue. Sell fills, lost trades, green trades. These one, I'll leave the lost trades on there. That one I don't mind too much. I did try changing that once upon a time in Project X. I didn't like it. So I will, there we go. I apologize, everyone. I will not be removing that blue line. I'm a little superstitious. It's been giving me good luck. So the blue line is staying. I do not use the blue line. I want to make that very clear. I do not use the blue line. I just very much like the blue line. I'm a fan. I'm a big fan. It's a little superstition. Oh, man, I got to go do the same thing on here. All right, we are open. Creativate is a little clunky, but I don't mind it as much as I used to. Save. There we go. Morning, Mike. How you doing? Much better. Much better looking. All right, so we did the opposite of what I was expecting. What's my view for today? Today might be, usually after we have big moves like that, big directional moves, today might be a nothing burger. Same thing that we saw on Friday last week, right? Thursday had a massive move down, corrected. So this was actually 800 points down, 600 points back up on Thursday. Friday, we had nothing to open, pretty much nothing into close either. Yesterday, same exact thing. From our open, go over to M&Q for this. For our open on Glopex into close, we opened all the way down at 25,200. We closed just about at 26,000 last night. We ended up going to 25,991 for Asia, and then we managed to take it this morning. But just an exhausted move after. Jolts at 10. Thank you. We do have NFP this Friday as well. Keep that in mind, everyone. NFP weeks are pretty horrendous, especially the Thursday before NFP. And if anyone recalls from last month, what will we not be doing this Thursday? Stated it a couple times. I'm going to make sure everyone remembers. But we will not be touching the IB on Thursday. As sad as it is to say. Just didn't know I still have that pinned. We will not be touching the IB on Thursday because it is a pretty significant loss chance before NFP. And it's not anything to do with the IB. I think it's more so to do with the data that we get. But the IB suffers because of whatever manipulation or boo hockey happens on Thursday before NFP. Not really much we can do about it. Gold is also set to make a pretty decent recovery. This one with the move that we made overnight, and I've seen this several times. This is when gold was trading regularly before it made these couple 1,000-point drops, it seems. Gold, after a strong overnight move, this is what we can expect into open. Monday, January 26th, perfect example. Same thing with Tuesday, January 27th. Same exact thing with Wednesday, January 28th. Same exact thing for the open on Thursday prior to that drop. It's 120 SS. 120. All right, looks like we are going for that gap fill. SPY and Qs are pretty diverged still. think once we get that gap fill, we should have a pretty quick bounce. Maybe not that high, but we should retrace up to like 627.26. Just about to get the gap fill. I'm not sure if Freedom's in here, which he's not. If this was a higher stat, we could have played a downside move. Ultimately, none of the 15-minute opening candles matter because I don't touch the first 15-minute candle. I think it's more so gambling than anything. But we should, after we get a nice draw like that, we should have either a wick get established and have a little pop, or we just continue falling through. But typically, more often than not, you have a little dead cat bounce off of a gap fill like that, especially with a $2 opening candle. I mean, we very well might retrace quite a bit of this to the downside. There's that bounce right there. So that might be, doesn't have to quite go to the top of the arrow, but it's probably the extent of what we'll get. That was almost $1. Quick play that you guys could do. Again, I don't trade the first 15-minute candle, so I almost never touch those, but it's very good to study and deploy imaginary trades, I'd say, paper trades, even though we didn't touch anything on that. Very nice bounce off that level. We need to make the dead cat bounce an official strategy. Kind of goes in with what we were talking about Friday, if you guys were on that stream with Andre, James, and Dan. If you just sit here and look at the charts long enough, you'll be able to develop strategies. I wouldn't really call that a strategy, but you'll be able to have pattern recognition like that. Even though we didn't take a trade on it, we had no skin in on that trade or that idea. It's still very good to validate. Like yesterday, how many times did I say I wanted to enter on a pullback? Even though I never ended up entering on that pullback, never ended up taking a trade yesterday. Fortunately, just watched it go all the way to the IB, and it was a perfect IB break at 12:15. But still really good to sharpen your tools. Make sure that you're constantly improving. So that would be that little. We almost got to 50%. Very, very close. We got to 627.25. We needed to get to 627.33 for 50%. So very close on that. Now we should have a continuation to the downside. Doesn't look like it wants to validate a bounce. So it should continue to fall. Don't really have any support levels from yesterday because of how fast we moved up. So it could go all the way down to like 623.16, maybe even all the way down to that 621, the close from Friday. I should take everything that I say. Yes, French remembers. Sex the chickens. Yeah, intuition. Pattern recognition and intuition, even though it doesn't seem like there's any patterns here. Your subconscious is a very, very powerful tool. We are getting a continuation on that fade. This should, both of these should continue until SPY gets its gap fill, which isn't very far away. 695.44. And gap filled on SPY. Qs did take the low of the arrow. Nice. Drew the arrow correctly. Just kidding. Same exact dead cat bounce. Well, I wouldn't really call that a dead cat bounce, but same exact gap fill bounce on SPY. See if this one can get up to 50%. What's going on, Arvin? How you doing? Almost get up there. It still has a little bit. Q's did it in what, like 2 minutes? Yeah, the wick high was in the second 1 minute candle. So we'll see if SPY can get up there. Probably not because London lows right there. Still a pretty good read though. Very nice read. All right, we do have the IB high form first. We'll go and pull up the market data for today. Market data this week. We have job openings delayed due to shutdown. This one probably isn't going to have that big of an impact. The big one for the week is going to be on Friday. We have NFP, first Friday of every month. Thursday, we probably won't be trading that aggressively. If anything, I'll just take a flip trade on these accounts or just target the $50 a day on Lucid. And then GDP, ADP, ISM. Wednesday is going to be a decently big news day. Thursday, same thing, delayed due to shutdown, so not too much there. Isn't that crazy? Because sorry, I just read your comment. Isn't that crazy that there very rarely seems to be positive tilting? Like, how come when everyone tilts, you'd think that eventually you'd tilt in the right direction, right? How does every single person, every single trader, also we just got up to that 50% there. Nice take. So that one was a nice bounce off that gap fill. Same as Q's. Only this managed to get 50%. How come every single trader, when they tilt, that always ends up poorly? The end result is always a blown account. And it's never an account that reaches max profit. When you get a chance, can you explain your last night trade if you took any? Yeah, I did. I'm not even gonna lie, I did get a little tilty last night, mainly because I saw these were all 1M&Q trades, so there were 5 trades on this overnight. I did recover it, but this was a long that I took. Got wicked out by like 3 points, I think, where my stop loss was. I had my stop at 25,918. My entry was 25,938. And then the very next candle pushed all the way up just about to my TP. My TP was at 26. But I did get a little tilty last night because of Apex denying my payout requests. But managed not to do anything stupid, just with 1 micro, thankfully. But it was another momentum trade last night, another trend trade. Do you look at RTY price action too? I do not. I do not. I also get quite a bit of flack for not looking at YM. KP's not in here yet, but when he jumps in here, he will give me crap for not looking at YM. I think it's a little too much to look at. I've refined it down to really being successful with just using the IB and added confluence on SPY and Qs. I do not want to add in looking at RTY or YM for no reason. Even though they might work, I just don't want to screw a good system up. The addition of those two aren't needed. So I'm getting that. So we are now all the way down to 623. Mentioned that at the beginning of the live that we didn't have any support from yesterday, unfortunately. So with that move being as fast as it was, we left some voids that kind of needed to get filled. Definitely could have taken some shorts into open, it feels. This is a 0.8% pivot already. We're just gapped up 0.4%. We're all the way down 0.42 now. So 8% pivot. Definitely could have taken some some of those ideas shorts, but still in the first 15-minute candle. So why not just stick with the IB stat since the win ratio is so nice for one risk reward? I like trading. The IB hasn't been working for the 50% retracements, probably because it got momentarily popular with my Twitter posts, but that's just it's not a real thing. That's just a joke, obviously. I hope you know that. The IB hasn't been working for the best entries. It's still working really well, but I've always traded trends overnight, mainly because Asia is a lot less. Like if we go and look at MES for instance, this one usually pretty good over for Asia session. Asia is a lot less manipulated. So really, any strategy you want to do, supply demands, fair value gaps, any entries that you're going to get, they're going to be a lot more accurate during Asia because there's not as much volume. Given that there's not as much volume, there's not the ability to have these crazy wicks up and down like what happens during New York. And the only reason this happens during New York is because there's millions and millions and millions of dollars on each 10-second to 1 minute candle. And that's why these candles have 50-point wicks, sometimes even 100-point wicks in the larger instances. But Qs right now, I mean, this wick that we just saw was 70 points right there. 50 points, sorry. And that's only because of the volume. You're not going to have that during Asia. That's why I like trading trends a lot more during Asia. If I were to try to trade this trend right now, I would, let's say I would have gone short because that candle just pulled back 30 points. That would typically be what I do during Asia session. I would have just been stopped out at 775. Even though it doesn't seem like that large of a candle, that's a 25-point wick to the upside. So 2 MNQ, $100 loss, 1 MNQ, $50 loss. Why did Apex deny your payout? I have no email from them yet, so I do not know. I have no idea. When I know, I will post it. I'm assuming it's the MAE rule. That's my assumption, but I have no other information on it. The accounts aren't blown. There's no profit withdrawn from the accounts. I didn't oversize. The largest I went on these accounts was 6 micros, I think. No, that was on Lucid. 2 micros is the largest I went on these. 2 micro lots. So I'm assuming it's the MAE rule, which the MAE rule is kind of, for the 25K accounts, I can only lose, or I can only be red -400 on a trade, which isn't very much, especially with how gold's been moving. So maybe I had a trade that I entered get up and it wicked pretty strong in the other direction. I don't know, but we'll see. I'm not too upset about it. I'm a little upset that I was supposed to request it yesterday. It would have been probably in my bank account by tomorrow or Thursday. Now I have to wait until next Tuesday because they put the violation on for Friday. So Friday, Monday, Tuesday. Today would be 3 days, and I need another 5 days, 5 trading days. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Monday, Tuesday. Next Tuesday, I should be able to take the payout. And I already have 2 $50 days. And they require another 5. We'll see. Oh, the psychology thing? Yeah, absolutely. If this was a big red candle, this would drive some urgency. Which, as unfortunate as it is, it does affect people trading. Like if you see a big red candle like this, and I see it all the time, people see a big red candle and they immediately call BS on it. They immediately say, no way this is going lower. You don't really do it as much with green candles because everyone likes seeing green. So if you see a green candle, more people are inclined to see a red pullback and then go long with it. There are some people that always call tops and bottoms and usually get wrecked for it. But especially with big red candles like this, you're more inclined to buy for whatever reason, as opposed to waiting for a pullback to short into. Which, speaking of, I don't think a short looks too bad right now. I like the idea of a short at 25.8, that psych level, which is already getting a pretty nice rejection. Then you could slap like a 25-point stop on it and then target right back down to the IB low. It'd be like an 80-point drop-ish. What's the plan on MNQ since the first candle's so big? We'll trade it the same. The size of the IB right now, we're looking at, it's not too bad. It's 110 points. So $220 risk reward on that. Just need to wait for it to get to 50%. Probably opt to trade MES today, though. Your lot size is 40 over there. Yeah, this is copy traded, though. I'm not trading 40 micros. This is copy traded over the two accounts. So this is set up for a 2M and a Q trade. That's because that's what I was taking last night. This is not 40 on one account, I promise. These are all copy traded. Here's that short right there. It was down about 25 points from 25.8. MES is a little bit stronger today, which I don't really like seeing with Qs trying to make these lows. Any update on the Apex payout rejection? None. I have yet to get an email from them. Roughly speaking, how long does it usually take to get a payout trading 2 micros? I just switched from minis, get tired of blowing accounts with too much size. You get the payout when you get it. Even one payout a month, a singular payout a month is more than most Americans make. So if you can get, a singular max payout a month. So if you're trading, you put $350, let's say, into Lucid accounts, you can get a 5K payout probably in the month. Just trading micros, you need to make $3,250 to get the max payout with Lucid. Sorry, 3,350 because they have a $100 buffer on there as well. Probably should have taken that short right there. I hit off the blue line that I don't use. Maybe I should start using it. I would have gone in probably with one MNQ with a 25-point stop on that. Would have been a little tight, but good thesis. So 3,350 is what you have to make for most 25K accounts. Using 1 to 2 micros on that, you only have to make $100 a day. So that's catching either a 25-point or a 50-point move a day, and that is from the eval all the way to the payout. 25 to 50 points a day, which that play right there, that rejection at 25.8, that would have been 25 points. You even hit 50 points at the peak of that drop. So that would have been 1 MNQ or 2 MNQ, either $100 to $200 profit. I know I'm saying would have, but you get the point. Obviously, we didn't take that, but that's the idea behind trading micros. Even one payout a month, $5,000, that's a lot of money. And that's a working wage for most people. And honestly, trading does not take that long. Trading is not a work all day type of skill. What's going on, Roland? Good morning. How you doing? Guessing you caught shorts off of London 50, even though we didn't hit it. Oh, SPY hit it, actually. SPY would have been a really nice short. Just for my learning, is MNQ an inside bar candle play on the long side? No, it is not. We opened outside. We opened inside and wicked up immediately. This white line that you see here, 628.49, we wicked up, made the IB high, and then immediately rejected the inside bar, so we no longer have that draws the upside. 2 shorts for fun and instantly fill 50 points. Got lucky. There you go. Isn't 2 MNQ a lot considering the way MNQ is moving? Oh, absolutely, yeah. I'm not going to trade 40. I'm going to be trading 20, 1 MNQ. But I obviously should have changed it earlier. Whatever. 60 points on that drop now. I got to start taking the trades that I'm talking about instead of just yapping about them. Apex has a new feature that might show the violation. All I see, I haven't gotten an email from them, and I couldn't find where the violation or what the description of the violation was last night. That would have been a really, really nice short if I had taken it. Damn, damn, damn. Hit the full TP too. Do you ever trade IB by retracement? I do not. I do not. That's after the IB breaks. TP hit on MES for R1. Yeah, we hit it on both of them at the same time. Sadly. Anyone happen to take those shorts? Looks like a couple of people did. I just mentioned that to Duncan, actually. I replied to one of his tweets. Might not have been Duncan, might have been another edgeful guy, but for the IBs, when we don't get the 50% retracement, I like looking for psych levels like that. So 25.8, that one's held up several times. So I would continue to use 25.8 as a rejection level. We're going to do the same exact thing we did yesterday, just to the downside. The IB 50 is going to hit, but it's because we're making new lows in the IB, and it's dragging the IB 50 to where that wick just was at 25.8. And it's literally the same exact thing we did yesterday. If I would have pulled the trigger there, we'd probably be done for the day. That was coming up on a 120-point drop now from 25.8. Oh, well. Sharpen the tools. If I understand correctly, Asia trades are trends and New York trades are IB. Is it correct? Can you please tell what time frame? I always use the 15-minute time frame. The Asia trades, I do trade trends because there's no IB during Asia. 810 to 770 for a scalp. Yes, awesome, Mark. Very good. I trade trends regardless, though. The IB is a trend trade. It's the first hour of market. That gives you the trend for the day. And then I ideally look for it to retrace to 50% and then look for a continuation to the downside or the upside. I'm always trading trends because trends have an 80% chance or an 80% likelihood of continuing in that direction that they're pushing. Gain 3,000, max loss 900, 30%. Well, the max loss should be, which is what I'm even more confused about because I've been over the buffer since Friday. So I would have had to have this trade go down $750, which I don't think happened. I don't know what the violation could be. Maybe they're just, because I qualified for the payout on Friday, that's when they slapped the violation on there. And it could have been one from like the first week that I had the account. I have no idea. Again, I'm not too worried about it. I still have the accounts. Man, this thing, 150 points now. Son of a gun. I still have the accounts. If anything, I get 8 more days to build a buffer, which the more I make on the accounts, the easier the next cycle of those payouts is going to be. So I could turn this into a $60,000 February. We'll see, which would be insane. 2 30K payouts from Apex. As it stands right now, when I withdraw the 1,500, it's going to bring the accounts down to 26.4. I'll still have 1,300 in drawdown. I have to make another 150 regardless. So I should have 1,500 in drawdown when I go to start the next payout cycle. Everything should be hunky dory. Sometimes I just hesitated too much as well. Wouldn't that be an accidental gold trade you took, Mr. Zink, on Thursday? It could have been the one I had Thursday night, but that one I swear that one was down like I don't know how much it was. You're probably right. But it was just one micro that I had on. I don't know how Reddit went. I don't know. Again, I'm not too worried about it. I still have them. Still be able to trade them. Oh, that one. I can't imagine it was from that 130. Maybe they're slapping me with a violation on like I sized up on from 1 MNQ to 2 or something. I don't know. I see why they get so much hate now though. It's any other prop firm that this is payout available. So what do you think about trading after the orb and ivy formed and point in the same direction and taking a VWAP rejection? You could try that out. You go and try that out. And you get back to me and let me know how it works. VWAP I don't use. Orb I don't use. Going on LA. The orb I don't use. VWAP I don't use. I think those are a little too much to add onto the charts. So I'm not too worried about adding anything that I don't need. I feel like an idiot for not taking that short at 25.8. How do you connect YM and NQ? Would you short YM after liquidity sweep? I don't use YM at all, Vlad. YM and NQ would be if you do use any, it should be YM and SPY. YM and NQ wouldn't make sense. YM is the entire market, it encompasses the entire market. NQ is just 100 tickers, and it's all tech tickers. So YM, which I can't remember. Anyone want to remind me what the actual ticker for it is? I know the futures one, but what's the stock ticker? DIA, thank you. YM can push up if gold pushes up, which gold is up 5% right now. Silver's up 10%. YM holds gold. It holds everything that's made up in the market. So every ticker that's in the market that's validated anyway, it's not going to have tickers that are like the $1 million pharmaceuticals or bio companies. 30 companies? The Dow Jones? I don't think the Dow's 30 companies. Is it really? Am I an idiot? Key details about the 30 companies in the what? Which one is it that has the entire market then? Wow. I'm completely off. I'm so sorry about that. IWM 2000. Those are small caps, though. I swear the Dow Jones had the entire market. I'm so sorry about that. Oh, I'm such an idiot. Yeah, go ahead and I was terribly wrong right there. The Nasdaq composites. Which one am I thinking of then? There's one that I don't know. I'm an idiot. S&P is the biggest basket. Wilshire 5000. There's two there. Maybe IWM's the biggest one. I don't know. I'm so sorry about that, Vlad. That's the most wrong I've probably ever been. I always thought the Dow was the entire. Anyway, even that quick little search, I did just see that Dow is made up of Walmart, as Walmart as one of its larger holdings. So Walmart's obviously not saying anything until I validate this, because now I feel like an idiot. Okay, Walmart's only 1.2% of Qs. Let's see where it is in Dow. It's the weighting of Walmart and NVDA. No. How much Walmart is in the Dow Jones? It's the weighting. 1.47. I don't know then. I got to do some reading. That's for damn sure. Something, if it's only made up of 30, then there's something that's preventing it from doing what the rest of the market's doing right now, which I don't know what it would be. IXIC is 2,000 companies. Nasdaq's 100. I know SPY is 500. Nasdaq's 100. Now I know the Dow's 30. I thought the Dow was so much bigger than that. Very, very dumb of me. Sherwin-Williams is in the Dow currently. So that makes no sense why why would you use the Dow in comparison to what the S&P is doing? 30 names as opposed to 500. Yeah, that's a rough one. Anyway, to answer your question, Vlad, I don't use the YM at all. And the main reason I don't use YM is because YM, from the times that I have used it or looked at it, it typically does the opposite of what SPY and Qs does. There's almost always SMT on these. I don't use SMT at all either. So I don't know how that would be useful for what I trade or my trading strategies. Like yesterday, maybe you could have done something off some SMT that had a continuation higher, but I swear from how many times KP uses it in chat, I always see him saying some kind of SMT, divergence SMT on the Dow. So I'm not going to live that one down. I need to go read another finance book. It was bad. New York Stock Exchange includes everything. YM's a different animal to trade. And I probably won't trade it. I'll stay over here in my little MNQ and MES nook. That would have been another really good pullback to get in. It's another 100-point drop. So this is a perfect example of trend trading. And obviously hindsight on all of these, but trend trading, it's as simple. Don't focus on the blue line that I have in my chart. Again, that's just a superstition. Trend trading, just look for a pullback into either 50%, look for a pullback in general and go short with it. I like looking for pullbacks to psych levels. Unfortunately, I did not short James. No, I should have shorted at 25.8. Definitely would not have caught this entire move down. So I'm not upset about the 25.8. I'm more upset about the fact that 25.8 would have been a perfect short to 25.721, where the IB low was. Hindsight's a bitch. Even then, right at 10:03 right here, this would have been another really good short. Difficulty with trend trading is being able to catch. Like for instance, on this one, I might have shorted at 25.600. It wicked up another 40 points past that 25.6. So that wouldn't have been viable for a trade. unfortunately. But now we need to see some kind of pop. Probably previous day's 50, if anything. I'd be more inclined. Why do I have two? What's going on with the IB on SPY? It's two of them. Oh, that was weird. Very good, Jameson. Nice. Pass the account. Oh, no, you need a little bit more. You know, there's 60. Don't get that today. I'm a pullback trader, so when this trend runs, it stings a bit. No FOMO. Refuse to F up my edge over it. I like getting those pullbacks too short into. I almost never, and the reason I don't is because I always blow my accounts when I do. I never try shorting or longing the trend. Meaning, well, sorry, could have worded that better. I never inverse the trend, never invert it, never reverse what the trend is doing. Your little, and this is what I think every single time I'm taking these trades, your little 2 MNQ or 1 MNQ, or if you're a mini trader for whatever reason, your little 2 MNQ trade on a sim account that isn't even correlated to the direct market, the live market, is not going to cause millions and millions and millions of dollars to pivot with it. There is no reason to think that the trade that you are placing is going to counter what the trend is doing. So either don't take a trade. Taking no trade is better than trying to inverse a trend and calling BS on it, or scalp the trend and, okay, I'm going to go long right now because we're bouncing off 25.6. Should get a nice bounce. No. Instead of doing that trade, instead of looking at that trade, wait for price to creep up a little bit. Low volume typically precedes with that. So if we look at the volume coming in, we can see that price is maintaining high volume to the downside. If you go down to a lower time frame, you can see each one of these green candles minus the two recent ones we just got. So this trend could be pivoting momentarily. Look at the volume we had coming down from 954 to 1002. We had a $1.30 green candle come in that had volume that wasn't even remotely close to any of the previous candles. This is on the 1 minute time frame. I don't use the volume on the 1 minute, but the 15 minute you can usually see when it spikes up here on the bottom. Same thing for yesterday. Looking at all the green volume that came in on the opening candles, and then we see the one red candle we got for the day, 10:15. Well, the two red candles might have signaled a momentary pivot at 10:30, and then look at the volume we had come back in at 11 and 11:15, back to the trend. So right now should hopefully get a nice bounce. I want to see previous day's 50, and then I'd be inclined to short there. Definitely should have taken shorts up here at 25.8. Definitely should have taken shorts on this pullback. The 25.6 one probably would have been stopped out with a 40-point wick over it. But that's my best lesson for trend trading. Reversal trading, you are already at a disadvantage because it only reverses 20% of the time. Is this 21 EMA that you use? When is your course coming out? It will be out sometime this week. I'm almost done with it, I promise. I was trying to launch it this weekend. I did not put the work into it that I should have. So I slacked a little bit. I'm sorry about that. But it should be out sometime this week. I'm almost done with it. I'm on chapter 6, 5.5, 6. So I have one more to go. You even see what mug I grabbed. All right, so we want to see at least some kind of bounce coming up here. And then we're definitely, there's no reason that you should be longing this today. Taking no trade is worlds better than taking reversal trades. I will also die on that hill. No, you have to wait until tomorrow, Jameson. Will there be any trade you do now or no? You're a trend follower, so I don't think you will try a mean reversion. Time will tell. We have 15 minutes for the IV. I'm happy with getting a reversal of previous day's 50. I don't think we're going to get 50% today. Same exact thing we did yesterday, same exact thing we did on Friday, same exact thing we did on Thursday last week. This is probably closest to how we traded Thursday, which Thursday I just waited for a bounce up to 625, which, funny enough, also lined up with 25.8. And that, although it didn't look like it was going to happen, we got it in the last 5 minutes of the 10:15 candle. So 10:25, I think we took that trade. I want to say. I have it journaled. I'd have to go look, but 10:25, I think we got that wick at 25.8, and then we shorted it. So we do have another 15 minutes, probably another 10 minutes before we can get a viable pullback to short into. That would be all I'd be looking for. So hopefully we get a bounce. SPY, I'd be more inclined to take the trade on. Even if we get I'd be happy enough getting up to like 69.83 if we could. So if we can get a 20-point bounce somehow, I'll take the short there. Kind of kicking myself for not taking the short at 25.8. That's a very valid psych level to trade. It's actually one of my favorite ones to trade. So if we can get lucky enough to get an entry, I will definitely take it. I won't miss this one. On the same note, if we just continue to trade strong in this direction, then we're not going to have a trade to take. So I just want 20 points. And we'll put a 20-point stop loss on it as well. So we want the trade to get up to like 69.82. The reason that I'm not going to put the limit in there quite yet at 69.82 is because we could get a very strong bounce all the way back up to that IV50. So I'm not going to try to short a little dead cat bounce either. This goes into the volume that I was just talking about as well. 620 is going to be a psych level on Qs that we're going to have some rejections off. Ultimately, I don't want to put myself in a position that's not worth the reward. So right now, this is 10 points, which would be $50 on one MES. Do we have inside days on ES? We do not. We opened outside. Actually, sorry, no. We opened on SPY. We opened inside previous day's range, and you can see we wicked all the way up to 696.96, which is a whopping 3 cents over previous day's high at 696.93. So we just barely swept previous day's high, which Andre had this stat on Friday when we were talking about the inside bars. We only have a 20% chance of price going down to 689.44. When SPY breaks previous day's high or previous day's low, 80% of the time it will not go and break the other high or low, regardless of the size of the candle. So we have a very slim chance of going down to previous day's low, which is 689.43. All lines up with the IB after the IB breaks. Same thing we saw yesterday. After the IB breaks, there's usually not much movement after that trade is done. I know it's a lot of waiting, which is kind of meh, but again, not taking a trade, making sure that we are confident in the trade that we take, not taking a trade that has a terrible risk reward. All those are better outcomes than taking a trade kind of a half-ass trade that either puts you in a bad mindset to go into drawdown, or you always think about this too: $0 is better than negative dollars. Another thing that I do when I enter every trade, and this is probably one of the more helpful tips I can have for newer traders. When you enter a trade, imagine that you are losing that money as soon as you enter. So when I go and enter on, let's say I enter a short right now, and I put a 10-point stop in on MES, 69.82. I'm not viewing this trade as I'm up $50 or I have the potential to make $50. I'm not thinking of any of that. When I enter the trade, I immediately think I'm down $50. That's the risk that I'm putting in the trade. And what that will do for you is when you go and take the trade, as opposed to exiting early, which again, I'm a criminal at this. I do it all the time. I exit trades early all the time. Instead of exiting early for an early stop loss because you don't like looking at the red on the trade, or exiting early because you're worried about what the trade might be showing after you already made your plan for the trade. Anything that makes you antsy while you're in the trade usually comes from you thinking that you're going to win on it as soon as you enter. So what I like doing is I like waiting for at least the best risk reward that I can get, or the best one that I think I can get, which is almost coming up here on SPY. And then when I enter that trade, let's say we do get our entry at 69.82 coming up here, I'm going to put a 10-point stop on that. Probably might be a 20-point. I'll put a 1-to-1 on it. 10 points is still quite a bit. That'd be up to 69.92. We'll see. Wherever I put my stop loss, I am already thinking in my head, I'm already thinking this trade is a loss. So if I lose the $100 that I'm putting at risk, whatever, so be it. I was accepting of that when I entered the trade. Aren't edgeful stats usually related to previous sessions? So previous session high and low. MNQ done the double just now. Yeah, they usually are related to it. MNQ is not the same stat for SPY. SPY doesn't move as much. I need to go and find where Andre was talking about that stat, but SPY only has a 20% chance of going down to 689.45. I'm not sure what the same outcome is for Qs. But yes, you are correct. It usually lines up with previous sessions high and low. If it ends up being like yesterday, I will be a little upset because we had a very good presentation for a short. I'm at the 30-minute time frame. We had a very good presentation for a short at 25.8, and I did not take it. Also, not going to take the trade on MNQ. Yes, the risk reward is higher. Damn, speaking of psych levels, we definitely could have just taken that short at 25.6. Same exact thing as 25.8. Hit 25.603 just now. It's down 50 points from that wick. Should have been paying attention to that one too. But that's another good representation of psych levels. Got hair in my eye. We got up to 69.75. So at best, this would have been a 13-point trade if we got the absolute best entry. Getting a rate limit error for trading on Lucid Flex. Anyone have this before? Are you trading silver contracts, Rob? See you, Mark. Thanks for your time. Gotta head to work. No problem. Couple months back, I took the previous day's 50 and ran it with my own strategy. How'd that work for you, Goth? New IB low just got made. So that would have been a very good entry had we creeped up a little bit more. Unfortunately, we did not. This is 15 points down from that pullback. And Q's also got the 25.6 rejection, so very unfortunate. Another 100-point drop. Nope, ES and M and Q. I don't know then, Rob. Usually they restrict you from going over the limit. Unless the CME updated it and I don't know. That's something you'd have to reach out to support for. I've never gotten a limit error on there. I did see that some people were getting it, but they were trading silver. And silver contracts, the CME limit for like they were 110,000 last week. So oh man. This sucks. Several very good entries presented to us. I did not jump on any of them today. Still have 5 minutes. We can get a good pullback in the next 5 minutes. We can change up what our plan might be. But this was another 20-point drop from 75. Hindsight. Always. Or am I getting tagged all over the place? I keep hearing my Discord ding, but I have no idea where the... Holy moly. All right, you guys are going to like this one. Actually, we're getting a really nice pullback right here. Maybe short. Not a fan of the bounce off previous day's 50, but I am a fan of the pullback, the size of the pullback. It's at 16 points right now. I'll try... Let me try one. So we can do 12 points for a stop loss. So we'll put the stop at 69.80. Hopefully I didn't show up too late to the party. So short 1 MES to IB low on this pullback. Just one. And then the exit is going to be IB low. If I'm too late to it, then it's me getting a little eager. Can I get the screenshot out? Won't let me screenshot. Weird. I guess I'll just have to type it out. So it's 1 MES short. 68. 69, 68. And we have a 12-point stop on it. Might be a little too tight. 1 MES to IB low. 69, 68 entry. 12-point stop. Might be a little late to joining in on the trend. We'll see. It would be very upsetting if I was, especially after missing those opening trades. What's the stop loss in dollars? 12 times 5, $60. $60 stop, $60 reward. Not a massive trade by any means, but Ticker TA's validation of mine was done for the day. Thanks, Sync. No problem. Happy to hear. If I had taken any of the other 4 trades that I had talked about, but whatever. Back to what I was saying. You guys ready for this promo? My Funded Futures is doing a pass one, get one promo. So pass a Rapid or Pro account. If you purchase an evaluation and pass it, you will receive a second evaluation account for free. It is valid for the sorry, I'm so late to this. It is valid for the next 1 minute. Tuesday, 10 a.m. ET. I was a little late to getting this. My apologies. It's probably too late, but if anyone is able to capitalize on that, valid for both pro and rapid accounts. But it's only valid for 30 minutes from 10 a.m. So that's my bad for just now saying it. Oops. But to be fair, I just saw it. I was focused on not the rapid as intraday trailing drawdown. I thought they only had 2 accounts now. We were up $10 there for a minute, but we should get that IB low continuation now. Watch SPY. Are they the same as Lucid? You have to make same money. They're only 50K accounts are offered with them, unfortunately, so they're not the same as Lucid now. The 50K rapid, one of them you have to make 2,500. I'm not sure which one it is. But I do have an exciting announcement for you guys as well, based on that note. I will be live starting this Friday. I'll be live 10:30 to 11:30 on the My Funded Futures YouTube and all their platforms, actually. So Fridays from 10:30 to 11:30, I will be live. With your strategy, do you take a trade every day? I didn't take a trade on it yesterday, no. Some days I just watch and miss trades. Most days I don't try to take a trade. I let the chart decide if I'm going to take one or not. So for instance, right now, this one, I mean, it could take an hour and a half for this to break. We could go and hit the stop loss, which again, I'm risking 60 on this. If this one loses, perfectly okay with that. This is all in the plan when we enter the trade to start. Yesterday didn't enter a trade. Friday didn't take a trade with the IB. Thursday we did take a really nice. I did take a loss on Thursday, so I want to add that in. I tried trading gold shorts on Thursday. I ended up losing like 130 in maybe 5 seconds. And then I took a 2 MNQ short on MNQ. Ended up capitalizing on, I think it was 100 points. I got out at like 70 points profit or 80 points because we made, I don't remember, like 190 on or something. So I do not take a trade every day. The setup presents itself every day. The IB it is, or that is, but some days I don't take trades. Some days I do. It'd be nice if I were able to take a trade every day, but I'm not. I did my math wrong again, by the way. 14-point stop. 12 point. I put the stop at 12 points. That's okay. It's $60, but the take profit's 14 points IB low. So it's a little less than a little more than 1-to-1 risk reward. And the reason we're targeting the IB low is because if we go over to IB by rejection, I do think that's a weird little I do, but I do think that Tuesdays were overdue a loss for Qs in the IB low. We didn't form the IB low first today, obviously, but these ones were sitting at 78%. Actually, this one was somewhat due a loss, 83% for a Tuesday. SPY is at 57% for a Tuesday. Scratch that. I'm on Monday, sorry. This should fix that. So 84% for the low. Looks like Tuesdays might be overdue a loss. So if we do take a loss, it's okay. I'll revert this back down to the mean. Ideally, we do want to take a win, though. It makes me calm watching you trade. Good. With silver doing 10% moves every day, why are people trading it on prop 1% move, which is happening every 10 minutes, can blow the prop because people want nobody Absolutely no one thinks about the loss when you go and enter a 1 SI trade. No one thinks about the loss size. January, I had 8 no trade days, but a 29 R in the month. I took the previous day's 50 and tweaked it to the previous hour. So it's PO 50. Among with confluence, of course, but January was a banger month. Very nice. Glad to hear. If Q's takes the IB low first, I'll probably exit the trade on SPY, even if it's early. I think your mic's on, Raf, Sean, so you know. Yeah, something that a lot of people also need to, a lot of traders need to get under their belt is not taking a trade. You do not need to trade every minute of every waking day. I dig your energy, man. Capitalize on 2M and Qs. Just trying to sit here and listening to you analyze. 300 profit on eval. Keep up the good work and the vibes. Thank you. All right, we're just about to the IB low right now. Need a little bit more to go. Again, if Qs takes it first, I'm going to exit the trade on SPY because I have noticed that in some instances when Qs goes and takes the low, it springs back and it takes SPY with it. All right, we'll go and slap that stop at break even now. So make it risk free. I'll watch Qs. If Qs goes and takes it first, then we're out. Just about there. Qs is almost there too. If I get stopped at break even, I'm going to be a little disappointed. Well, you guys can also secure those trades whenever. You don't need to hold it for the full TP. I don't. This is a difficult one to touch on, but I don't think the advice don't secure your TPs early. I think I was just talking about this, but exiting trades early when they're green, A-okay. Exiting trades early when they're red after you have a pre-assessed plan with the trade. Like we were red, we were down 4 points at the peak of this trade. If I had exited there just because I got a weird feeling and I was upset about the trade being red, I completely slashed my potential win-loss ratio or risk-reward ratio. But exiting trades early when they're green, the only reason that you would stay in the trade a little bit longer, and this is why I don't also do anything with runners. Runners usually go break even all the time, and regardless of what strategy you're using. Anytime that people don't trail the stop up or they try going for more profit on a trade, which I guess I will be slightly guilty of coming up here if this hits break even, it almost always results in either a tilt, bad mindset, or you get out at break even like we are maybe about to. We'll see. I'm not going to secure it for $40 profit, though. I'm only in one MES, so I'm fine with if it does go break even, so be it. I will be a little upset after being like 3 points off the IB low, or 2 points off the IB low. Man, it's going to go hit break even. So close. What was the trade peaked at 12 points green, so we were up $60 in the peak of it. I'm also leaving the stop at break even because I'm not being greedy about wanting the full TP. So on that same note, you don't need to. I'm sure a lot of you guys saw that tweet not too long ago that was going somewhat viral on Twitter of someone that had their top step trade closed out by Top Step. Oh no, we made $3.75. Oh man, a little upset by it. Oh, if it ticks me out by that much, I will be very upset. But so be it. We were up $60 in that trade. Would have peaked up 120 with. Definitely do not leave that buy order in though. Make sure you guys cancel those. Are we in a shutdown? We are. We are. That's I completely forgot about that, but that's probably the reason we're dropping as much as we are. Another government shutdown round 2. Anyway, what I was getting at, that trade, there was a trader that had his position closed by Top Step. He was up like $4,000 or $5,000, and Top Step put their stop loss at 3,000. There's no reason to be up $4,000 on a trade and not have your stop at least at break even, or at least trailed like $2,000 in profit. So don't be greedy about the profits like that. I say as I just let a 12-point trade get stopped at break even, and we were 3 points away from the IB low. Very unfortunate there. On the same note, no reason for me to leave the stop loss up at 12 points after being up $60, because that would be not only a 12-point pivot, but that would be the candle pivoting 24 points and flipping on us. Peaked at $60 and 3 points away from the IB. Unfortunate. Very unfortunate. I think the worst part is if this ends up stopping me out by as much as it did. My stop loss is at. I would have been stopped if I put it perfectly at break even too, but I think it's going to probably go to the low now. I'm going to be a little more upset than I was, but it's okay. It's okay. How long have you been trading futures and prop firms? How did you take it from that aha moment in trading? I got asked this not too long ago, actually. The aha moment with trading, especially on prop firms, I kid you not, happens overnight. The process to getting to the aha moment, that does not happen overnight. But when you get to the aha moment and you're like, oh, this makes perfect sense to me now, that switch is overnight, happens immediately. And mine was in, let's see if I have any drawings on here. What is this? No, that's just a line. Let's see. So my aha moment when I really started getting profitable with futures was, I think, February of last year. I was still profitable beforehand, but it wasn't anything crazy. It was like a not 7K, 10K payout here and there. My aha moment was when I discovered the London 50, which is either, I don't remember if it was February last year or February the year before. But I was doing back testing because I was down on my shares. And I started just going on to the London 50 pre-market session and drawing in the 50%, just like we did today. And I would go and look and back test all the days and see, oh my gosh. And it worked pretty well today. You see perfect rejection at London 50. And then I started drawing 50% on most things. And now I just use it was called the power of 50 at first. That's why I started naming everything that I was taking for a trade power of 50, because of how many reactions we had at 50% of everything. The orb setup, the pre-market session, the previous day session, the IB setup, how many reactions we had at 50% of the IB. which we did have a really nice reaction at 50% on Friday, but Friday was a no trade day because it was disgusting price action. Haven't really been getting that many reactions on the IB50. We did have another perfect one, unfortunately, Wednesday when it was perfect. NinjaTrader and Tradeovate were down, so we didn't capitalize on that, but it worked out perfectly. Let's see if it had a pretty good retest, 624.47 there. This one was another perfect one, another perfect retest on Thursday, even though we never broke the IB. This was just a neutral trade. That's about it for a quick back test anyway. Man, we were so close to taking that IB. It stinks. IB still remains goated though. They can still work out today, unlikely, but technically it's still in play. Power of 50. We're not going up to 50%. There's no way. This is going to go and slap right through the IB right now after getting me out at break even. I know it. It's okay. You're still racking up option trades as well. Not as much recently because I'm in drawdown with them. I'm in some pretty not so good positions. Just missed the IB again by 1 point. Hit 6.955. 6.954 is the IB low. Oh man. Trade's going to break even. TP after break even. Excuse me, we made $3. At least give me that credit. I made $3.75 on that trade. It's time for you guys to buy my course. It happens. Though I've had 2 instances over the past month. Sorry, not the past month because it's already February, which is ridiculous. Where'd the time go? I've had 2 instances where I did not secure the trade. One of them being this Thursday, right here. I was up, if you guys remember this one on live, I was up $180 on the trade. I had 2 MES short and 1 MNQ short. So I was in for 3 micros. It was on the trade if I evals. That's why I was in for 3. I was up 180 on the trade at 619.37. And what I did not do was I did not trail my stop loss at all. I did not move my stop to break even. I didn't move my stop lower than what the risk was. I left the stop loss at the IB high and take profit at the IB low. And I ended up, instead of realizing the $180, I ended up flipping that day from up 360 to negative 320. And that was because I got greedy. I got a little tunnel vision and I wanted more money than what I was given, which $180 over 5 accounts was still a lot, even though it was in the eval phase. Still a lot for that position. Probably not going to take this continuation on the IB. We definitely could take an entry. It's actually back at where I would have gotten in. I don't like it when the IB misses by this much and it has that strong of a reaction back up. So even though it's a mechanical strategy, I do not like when it has this much of a reaction a couple cents over what the IB. This was 1 point off of breaking the IB low. So if it does go and take the IB low, so be it. So I don't rush my evals? Not really, no. For the evals, I go up to 4 MNQ, which is more than enough. 4 MNQ, especially in recent market conditions. One good move like what we had yesterday, that's enough to pass any 50K, even 100K account with 4 MNQ. It's more than enough for you to trade. There's no reason to go more than that. But I did. So Thursday, this Thursday right here, Thursday, January 22nd, up 180 to negative 320, or up 360 on the day to negative 320 because I got greedy. And that's from not trailing the stop. And then another instance this Friday, January 16th. I was up, I think, for the IB trade, I was up like 170 on it. And you can see we missed the IB low by 24 cents on Qs. 619.14 to 618.90 was the IB low. So we missed it by 24 cents. I was up 170. I didn't take the profit, ended up ending the day at like negative 60, which it's not crazy red, but anytime that I don't trail the stop up, anytime that I get greedy with what I want for the price, those typically all blow up in my face. This would be a perfect example right now. If we had left, could not have been a better example presented. Had we left our TP where it was, we would have just missed our full TP by 1 point. Had we left our stop where it was, our stop is now 4 points from getting hit. We had it at 69.80. Entry was at 69.68. Stop was at 69.80. Had we left it where it was, we would have been stopped out for negative 60 after being up 55. So yes, does it suck getting stopped out at break even? It does. It's much better than having a trade go that much green to switch to this high of a red trade. Which, if we get up to 50%, I might be inclined to still take the trade. Even though I really do not like when it bounces this much off of a couple cents over the IB, though. Especially after making that big of a drop. I would short back into the trend. Definitely a good idea, too. But this looks pretty explosive off the 5 minute and 1 minute time frame. That would have, our stop loss would have just hit right there. So does it suck that we got stopped at break even? Abso-freaking-lutely. But we just avoided a $60 loss. Could have secured at 55 profit, 1 point off the full TP. But I too have some philosophy. If a person does not have a clear system on when, why rush the process of eval and fail in the funded accounts make no sense. Yeah, it makes 0 sense. People rush evals. 50 is reeling the price in, baby. It's pulling it in. I trail per candle. No, I do it on the profit, Vlad. So we were up. I usually, if it's 1 micro, I'll trail it $50 behind. If it's on MES, if it's on M&Q, I trail it $100 behind. I actually wouldn't mind taking it right now. I like that rejection it just put in. Thinking about it too much, I would have missed a better entry anyway. But I trail it on the profit. Gold is holding 50% of the IB. Gold is not something that you want to trade the IB on, I promise. Do you keep any other evaluation account to do revenge trading when you go in tilt? No, I do not, because I would rather not have an account in reserve just to tilt on. Believe it or not, you physically cannot go from tilting to accurate trading. Like I cannot go from, they don't mix at all. I cannot go on to a Tradeify 50K eval or a Top Step 50K eval and go from trading 1 GC contract aiming for 1500 to go to 20 funded accounts and trading 1 MES and being okay with the moves. It does not work like that. You're unable to. So no, I do not keep an account to go and tilt on. If you are going to do something stupid, go and do it on an eval, absolutely. But I promise you that stupid trading will carry over to your funded account every time. I was yapping about it too much. I should have taken the entry. 69.75 would have been a pretty good spot. Hang on a minute. Yeah, sure, why not? So we'll put our TP at the low. Let's be a little risky. I'll put a 14-point stop on it. Screenshot's not working, but 69.72.75 is where I just got in. And I'll just leave this one running. At 69, what did I say? 92.75? 72.75. Target maybe low. Top loss 14 points. If I end up losing on this one, it's from not listening to myself about the bounces. It's an okay risk. Man, what's a green day, huh? And the market, that is. The whole entire market is just pooping. It's ridiculous. We're down 2 points on this right now. Guys, we're coming into the tail end of the stream. Do we have any other questions for me? I'll leave this running with a stop loss, take profit and stop loss set. Do we have any other questions for me? I don't think we're going to go all the way up to the IB low, which is why I'm somewhat okay with taking this trade where it is. Definitely not the best entry we could have gotten. Do you check market internals when trading, such like tick or add on VIX? I do look at the VIX, yeah. I look at the VIX. I have it up here in my watch list. Even though it's delayed, I still look at it. Oh, that's not good. No adding into this. But if it ends up losing, I'm going to be a little disappointed for not listening to myself. And it's going to go to the 50%. I do look at the VIX, yes, Vlad. I look at the VIX. Oh, why don't you? I'll show you right now why I don't trade the IB on gold. Ready for this? So GLD. Perfect example right here for a Tuesday. 47%, 47%, 66%, 33%. Those are your odds of breaking the IB when the high is formed first or the low. So today you don't have that good of a chance, but the kicker to this, the better one, Wednesdays, 50-50, just about 50-50 on both of them. So you might as well go on Wednesdays, go and flip a coin, and that will be your guess as to which way gold is going to break the IB. It's one of the funnier ones. Yeah, we're still down 28 on this, not ideal. Honestly, should have avoided this one. But it will be a good lesson learned if I do end up taking a loss on this. All right, guys, that is it for the stream. I will have those stop losses and take profits running. So again, I'll pull it up one more time before I head out. Stop loss is 6986. Take profit is the IB low, 6954. Down 4 points right now. Fortunately, I think the stop's just about IB 50, which is not ideal, but all right, guys, I will see you all tomorrow, same time. pull it up one more time before I go. 6986 is the stop. 6972 was the entry. 6954 is the exit. See you guys later. Have a great rest of your day. If you guys tuned in on YouTube, tuned in on X, tuned in on Twitch, wherever you are coming from, thank you for tuning in. I will see you all same time tomorrow. Peace out.